Greetings everyone, I am Lunar Kitten Zero, and today I have a little treat for everyone. I am taking my part 1 and part 2 of Lion, the Night King of the Imperium by Astartes Anonymous, and I'm putting them together into one full video. I know you guys sometimes like when I go back to my older videos and put them into one full reaction instead of in the parts that they originally came out in. This is a much older video. I have learned a lot since then, and you can even see my old model in this as well. But due to some bad weather, I was not able to get out a proper recording for Monday, so I thought, you know what, I've been meaning to go back to my old videos that are broken in parts and piece them back together for you guys, and today I took that opportunity with the lion. So I hope you guys enjoy.
To be alone for great lengths of time can be one of the most soul-crushing experiences for an individual to ever go through. To be alone and hunted by beings that wish you harm is an experience that most would describe as the stuff of nightmares. This was the setting in which a young child found himself from the first moments of his life.
Okay, so he was alone and a wild child? Interesting. And it seems that Astartes Anonymous is going to hop back and forth. So I won't keep flicking my character back and forth, but I will try to move out of the way as much as I can. But if we back it up here. So yeah, we got this whole wild child and the crazy hair, and I'm not even gonna lie, I immediately thought the Jungle Book for some reason. Maybe I just really need to watch that old cartoon. I don't know. And I mean the cartoon, I don't mean the live action-ish CGI thing. I like the cartoon. But, okay, so I'm assuming that how this happened was when the children of the Emperor, the sons, were taken and thrown across the universe. He ended up somewhere alone in the wild, Tarzan style. That's how I'm interpreting this.
Was the setting in which a young child found himself from the first moments of his life. The dark gods of chaos knew that he must be brought into their fold or destroyed, else he would become an eternal thorn in their collective sides. Unto the forest world of Caliban this son was given, and unto the beasts of the forest he was thrown. The child grew and learned quickly, as all of the Emperor's progeny did. The trees and beasts were his teachers, and only by wit and trial and error did he learn what was safe to eat and drink, and what he could kill. The boy became an apex predator in a world home to beasts that could tear a man apart with little effort. He had to. Within him was an inextinguishable survival instinct, not that of the prey species that fled at the slightest sign of danger. No. This was the instinct of one of those that sat atop the food chain. Those that knew that for themselves to live another day, each day had to be something else's last. Each task had become deliberate, economical, and efficient. No movement was wasted, no effort expended without purpose. The boy mastered his mind like he had mastered the forest and could give any task he chose his complete focus. Before long, the beasts of Caliban, touched by the warp though they were, knew to fear this new monster, a boy merely 10 years of age. Then they came. Creatures whose skin shone like moon atop hooved prey animals. From the safety of the trees, the boy observed them. They had killed one of the beasts of the forest and were making noises between themselves. They looked much like the boy did, but still different. The caution that he had ingrained within himself since his first moments of life bled away like grease under hot water. He wanted to know more about these strangers that were so much like him. Perhaps they could show him. The creature that the boy would come to know as Luther approached him using his hand to brush a lock.
Hold on, a couple things. Okay, so he grew up in the forest, very efficient at it, survival king. It really sounds like Tarzan. That's all I can see. I'm even hearing the Phil Collins music in my head. It's Tarzan. Now Luther here. Why do I know that name? Maybe I'm confusing it with something else, but could have sworn they said there was a guy, I thought the name was Luther, who was running from a bird. Maybe it's not this guy and I'm confusing it with somebody, another Luther. Or maybe I'm thinking Lex Luthor and I'm just completely off and my brain is somewhere out, like maybe I'm thinking not Spider-Man, oh my god. Superman. My brain is working, I swear. I'm trying to take all this information in and I think I'm mixing myself up. But I swear maybe when I heard Lion's story before this was mentioned a little bit and that's probably what's hitting the brain cells there a bit. But I'm digging the medieval knight vibe here. I don't see any tech on him other than maybe whatever that little bit of a device is on the arm. But curious. But yeah, I'm completely getting a Tarzan feel from this, 100%.
Of grimy blonde hair away from the boy's face, revealing emerald eyes, the color of the forest. Luther could not have known it at the time, but he had just named the boy who would become the Lord of the First Legion. He had named him Lion L. Johnson. As with all the Primarchs, the young boy grew quickly in both wisdom and stature, and gained the favor of those around him. He was described as having a beautiful singing voice, and could mimic the call of any animal he had heard. But as it is with all Primarchs, he became most well known for his super...
Now, okay, I'm going to have to say it, because it popped in my head. He has a beautiful singing voice, and I mentioned Phil Collins earlier, so now in my head, he's singing. It's alright. I'm fine. I saw that movie not too long ago, so I mean I've seen it a million times, but it's fresh in my mind. It's probably what's causing it. On top of that, love this picture. Very, very nice artwork. I think this is probably when he's supposed to be clearly much older, because he does look a bit like an old man here a little bit. Maybe he's supposed to still be young. Maybe it's the beard that's giving me the old man feel. But love the scenery, and I love the lion on the shoulder. Very nice. Again, artwork for 40K is always beautiful.
Superlative skill as a warrior and as a strategist. Quickly rising through the ranks of the Order, his new adoptive family, his steadfast, quiet confidence and indomitable will garnered him a reputation that spread far and wide across Caliban, drawing recruits in numbers never before seen by the Order. With Luther as the face and the heart of the movement, and the Lion as its ruthless right hand, no longer did the common man need to live in fear. At the instruction of the Order, the old traditions that reserved battle for nobility were halted. Although this departure from the old ways caused a wave of dissent amongst the ranks of the more conservative knights, the Order was rewarded with swollen barracks all year round. Within a decade's time, Lion L. Johnson and Luther had seen the Order grow from a small force into a grand army, and the desire for a better life for all of Caliban's inhabitants was on the rise. The two leaders of the Order decided it was time to rid their world of the scourge of the beasts. With blade and torch, the Knights of Caliban swept across the forest world, slaying hundreds of the abominations and perishing in their own hundreds with each pelt taken.
Okay, so how I'm understanding this, there's so much that's being told here. Ended up on this world, grew up as basically a wild child, and got found by Luther. I think I'm saying the name right. And together they built a very strong force. Stronger than I guess that's ever been on this planet. And what was it? Brain work. Somebody wasn't happy about them changing the rules of battle, I guess. I'm not really, that part he skimmed over real fast, so I'm not exactly sure what the unhappy part there was about. But now he's taking this group that he's amassed and they're wiping out what we saw with that one cat thing with spikes. Are those warp-touched creatures, or are they just mutated creatures of this world? Somebody in the comments let me know if they're just mutated monsters of this world, or are they warp touch or they some other evil god touched, monster cat monster thing. I don't know what to call them other than monster. But okay, so I'm assuming he's going to be successful in that. I mean, he's got a heck of a group, so I don't see how he could fail it. Unless somebody, I have a feeling, I'm going to theorize here before we continue, that somebody's going to come down this planet and mess some stuff up. Like, he's got a good thing he's kind of built up now. If I know anything so far about 40K, is as soon as you got things going pretty good for yourself, that's when 40K goes, yeah, thought. And it changes it. Just sweeps that right out the window on you.
Though many of the surviving warriors began to grow weary of the incessant slaughter, the lion remained steadfast and resolute in his purpose. To him, leaving such a monumental task unfinished would serve only as a waste of lives.
Okay, before he continues on that.
To him, leaving
that right there, let me move out of the way. Look at that artwork. Again, love it. The lighting, the coloring. And the thing is, what makes this so powerful is that the way the light is hitting that armor as they're peeking around the wall. You got that crack of lightning in the sky, the rain. It's all great. And what is so amazing about art is if you really look at this, there's not that many colors being used, and yet it tells such a great picture. Like, it just shows you don't have to use every single color in existence to have amazing art. This is blue and yellow and a little bit of orange, I said the word correctly, and might be a little bit of brown, black, obviously some white for highlight, but it's very simple colors and very few. And again, I love stuff like this. I always find it just so beautiful to look at. But enough of me gushing over artwork. Let's continue learning about Lion. And apparently some of his people are not happy about the continuously dealing with the monsters.
Such a monumental task unfinished would serve only as a waste of lives his men had so bravely given in pursuit of a dream that they themselves would never live out.
Oh.
Eventually, the last beast was slain, and Caliban knew peace for the first time in its history. It was during this bloody campaign that Luther, who had long been considered the greatest of a generation, began to see that the people had found a new being to idolize. The lion cared little for the praise and adulation that was heaped on him by the common folk, but begrudgingly accepted their accolades, unaware that this was planting the seeds of jealousy in his adopted father. In truth, it was a wound dealt in ignorance. For Lionel Johnson did not see the spark of pride that burned within his adoptive father ignite into jealousy in the face of his triumphs, a wound that would fester in the years to follow. It is possible that, had the Emperor of Mankind not arrived on Caliban, that Luther would have forgotten his jealousy in time, choosing instead to make peace with his adopted son. Alas, the galaxy will never know what might have been. For from the skies of Caliban came giants in power armor.
Okay, so maybe I was right. Maybe this is the Luther that does not like bird. But okay. So first of all, this picture is cool. Black, red, and silver. I know I love silver and black, but I am a sucker, as you guys can tell from my outfits. I like red. Red's one of my favorite colors too. So this picture is just gorgeous. That is some sharp, beautiful armor. But so Luther sounds like the guy I'm thinking of. But I didn't realize. Okay, so he's the adopted father of Lion here, and he got jealous, I guess, because he got popular. Is that how I'm understanding it? Well, not just popular. It's just the peasants or the poor people or just the people in general were looking up to this guy almost in a worship type of sense that I'm getting. And he didn't like that. He wanted it to be about him. I guess I can kind of understand that, but it's interesting that, he says here that maybe in time he would have gotten over the jealousy, but that doesn't happen because, like I said, somebody was going to show up. He hit peace. He put the planet in peace. Of course, now the Emperor's going to show up like, "Where's my boy? I'm here for my kid." It's like, I was doing fine. Just leave me alone. But no, Dad's making me go home. But so, yeah, I had a feeling this was gonna happen. Let's find out what's. Like, I have a bad feeling it's gonna get worse.
Armed with better firearms and finely crafted blades. They had informed the Lion that they were merely a vanguard force for the Emperor, the ruler of all mankind, and that this Emperor was on his way to greet the grim Lord of the Order. Having just freed their world from one form of tyranny, the knights under Luther and the Lion were extremely suspicious of this warlord from the stars. And though Lionel Johnson impressed upon them to use caution and to wait until they knew more, a contingency plan to assassinate the Emperor had begun to take shape. Upon meeting the Emperor of mankind, the Lion quickly pledged fealty to the Imperium, recognizing that his destiny was far greater than he had previously thought. The giant soldiers that had landed on the planet were a special breed of warrior known as Astartes, or Space Marines. And these particular soldiers were members of a force known as the First Legion. L. Johnson was told by the Emperor that he was a being known as a Primarch, a gene-forged creation of the Master of Mankind himself, and was being given command of this legion of transhuman demigods. Upon taking command of this superlative fighting force, the Lion immediately reorganized it to more closely resemble the structure of a knightly order that he grew up with, forming the first Hexagrammaton, and the order's penchant for secrecy and covert ritual found its way into the new legion's doctrine. Though the plot to assassinate the Emperor never came to fruition, thanks to the bravery of a young knight named Zahariel, the seed of suspicion that had been planted before the Master of Mankind's arrival had firmly taken root in the Elder Calibanite Knights and flowered into the thorny vines of mistrust and malcontent. Chief among these silent dissenters was none other than Luther himself. By this time, he was no longer looked up to as a father figure or even a brother in arms. No. By Luther's reckoning, he had been firmly passed by. His voice barely more important than a subordinate's. Gone were the days when the boy he had found in the forest would ask him the best way to hold a sword, or how to say something to make his intentions clear. This was the time of Lionel Johnson, the Night King of Caliban, a slayer of beasts and now lord of the premier force of the Legiones Astartes. Luther was quickly being left behind.
Okay. You're just old, and like, you're old news, buddy. Get over it. That's all I could think. Is I know that's not what's gonna happen. I have a feeling this is gonna get really, 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 really bad now. Cause okay, so he already was mad that the people were not annoyed, that the people loved Lion. That annoyed Luther, and then the Emperor shows up and goes, "Oh, by the way, here's a legion of Space Marines. You command them because you're, one of my boys." And he's over there like, "Why did this little punk kid just get a promotion and I didn't? What the crap?" I can kind of see where he's come from a little bit, but I don't think he thought things out too well. Especially the whole. Now, this part I was a little confused on, so please clarify in the comments. The assassination or the plan that was being created to assassinate the Emperor, was that Lion's men acting on their own, or were those men under Luther acting that way because Luther wanted it? I don't think Luther was assassin thought at that point. But whose men were those? Were they Luther's men or were they Lion's men? I think they're Lion's men, but I'm not positive. I got a little confused there. But this is, I think I'm going to find out why Luther's running from a bird.
Leaving the forests of Caliban, the newly minted Dark Angels Legion took to the stars from whence they came in even greater numbers than when they had arrived.
Oh.
The Lion, Luther, and many Calibanite knights had undergone the procedures to become Astartes or pseudo-Astartes themselves, following the Lion to prosecute the Emperor's Great Crusade. Over the course of this Great Crusade,
Okay, I'm just gonna say it. Look at that. That is awesome. I don't know if that's from a game or if that's some. It looks like a figure with actual cloth. I'm not sure, or whatever it is. I like it. Maybe it's all the red cloth coming off of it. It just looks really good. But he has some kind of little glowy lamp there. If you guys know what that thing is, let me know. I'm always very curious about the different parts of the armor whenever I see things like that. And is it just a lamp, or does it have some special use? I'm going to assume it's special use, but it's definitely interesting. Yes, I was distracted by the shiny. It's shiny, it got my attention. But I do like this. This is really nice. And I'm gonna again. I really feel like we haven't hit the worst of the worsts yet.
Dark Angels undertook many campaigns, one of which being the brutal Rangdan Xenocides.
Oh.
So terrible were the losses that the Dark Angels Legion suffered that other legions such as the Lunar Wolves, Ultramarines, and even the Iron Hands Legion began to overtake them in prestige and numbers.
Oh.
Nevertheless, the Lion never lost the sense of pride he held in his legion, and the sense of pride he felt for himself, often considering himself to be a breed apart from his brothers. In one instance, this resulted in a call to humility from the most unlikely of people, his brother Fulgrim, the Phoenician, as seen in Rogel Dawn, the Emperor's Crusader.
Okay.
A sensible proposition, except that 7th Legion battalions have already cleared orbit over the northern strike area, and we're ready to begin mass deployment, not just an insertion attack. My 40,000 legionaries hitting the ground will break their resolve within minutes, forestalling any need for wider commitment and risk.
Unacceptable! We have not bloodied ourselves in the void to relent at the edge of orbit. My ships are breaking through toward the equatorial defense stations, which will eliminate the threat to both your attack and that of the Phoenicians' legion. My knights will be first on the surface, but I assure you that we will share the battle honors.
The Tri-D projector stuttered as another feed came online. Fulgrim of the Emperor's Children greeted them with a brief smile.
Apologies for the delay in my participation. I believe my equerry has been fighting a valiant vanguard action on my behalf.
Okay, he just sounds like he's up to something. I don't know, maybe it's just the voice acting, but I'm just like, I don't know, that doesn't sound like a voice I should trust.
We are at an impasse, but as the most experienced Legion commander here, I feel that
I have waged war as long as any of my Primarch brothers. If you see fault in my strategy, say thus. Do not hide behind a veil of seniority. For what reason should the first not abide by their name?
Fulgrim's manner did not change.
Okay,
His
fine.
features set in polite attention through the lion's outburst. When it was done, the Phoenician pointedly turned his gaze to Rogel Dawn.
I feel that the Imperial Fists should lead the attack. The Phalanx is by far the largest vessel here, even bigger than our Gloriana-class ships, Brother Lion. As a display of Imperial authority, its arrival and the descent of 40,000 legionaries sends a message that cannot be ignored. Rogel is entirely correct in his assessment.
To split our attack is to risk a harder drop for my legion and yours. The loss of momentum could be disastrous to a swift victory if the inhabitants are not so impressed, as you say.
Fulgrim turned the intensity of his attention to the lion. Slender.
Okay, so this conversation is, I think, a little above my brain. But what I'm understanding is Lion's a little annoyed that everybody's going ahead of his group, and he feels that his strategy of them being the first should therefore go first. I think that's how I'm understanding it. And this white-haired guy who, I forgot what his name is basically saying that the size of their armies and their ships will intimidate and be a strong force to show instead of, well, his smaller group. Think that's what I'm getting? It's a, like I said, it's a little above my head. I was never super great at strategies, and that was a lot of information being thrown there in that conversation. But I don't know. I think I have to kind of almost agree with the white-haired guy, because the show of force, like, that is intimidating. But the other guy does make a point that if they're not intimidated by your numbers, then it was all for naught, because now your strategy failed. You were hoping they would back down because they saw your sheer numbers. It didn't work. I mean, it didn't exactly fail, because if you got that many people versus maybe they got less, you could just overpower them, I guess, if you're lucky. Or if you're just, well, I don't even have to say luck. They're usually super skilled, so I don't know, maybe the confidence is a bad thing. The problem is I just can kind of see both sides of this debate here. Not really sure where I fall, mainly because I don't know I'm not understanding what they're up against, so I'm a little confused.
Fingers steepling to his chin in a pose of respectful thought.
My brother, there is a very important difference between conquest and compliance. We are all warlords here, but more than that, we are the Emperor's Primarchs. When he dispatched us on this venture, it was with the explicit task of bringing worlds to compliance, however that is achieved. Societies broken by war need fixing, requiring resources that are stretched as the Great Crusade continues to expand into the furthest reaches.
That was my thought. We must give the enemy opportunity and encouragement to capitulate. Our reports showed that their fleet was their greatest strength. Without it, their resistance will be short-lived. I have not fought as many campaigns as Fulgrim, and few have been bloodless, but as the newest member of our Brotherhood, perhaps your perspective has not yet widened from the wars of your home world, Brother Lion.
All eyes, those of Primarch and Legionary alike, were drawn to the Lion, whose lip curled and brows knotted. For a few seconds he said nothing, one hand moving to the pommel of a great sword at the waist of his ebon black warplate. The touch of it appeared to reassure the Primarch of the First, and he straightened a little, the tension flowing from him just as his lion's mane cloak hung from his shoulders.
Forgive my impetuous words, my brothers. I meant no offense. And if my eagerness to prosecute the Emperor's will has caused such, then I apologize.
Okay.
You are correct. I lead a legion of the Emperor as I would a company of knights, but it is a far greater power I now wield. On Caliban, an opponent would not be undone by the mere unsheathing of a blade. But the galaxy at large is not Caliban.
We are here to unite humankind, not enslave it. Some may only come under the threat of the blade, but others will join freely.
The weapons of the Dark Angels were greater than all other legions, for their armories were flush with every manner of implement for the destruction of the Emperor's enemies. Ancient horrors of old night, retained from the Unification Wars of Terror, priceless suits of unique Terminator armor, and even relics from the Dark Age of technology, including the Exindio-class battle automata. These giant battle robots were described as a maelstrom of churning claws and gouts of arcane flame and radiation blasts. Unlike the clumsy automatons of the Mechanicum of Mars, these death machines are of strictly Terran design, being, in truth, leashed and enslaved abominable intelligence. The Dark Angels kept these mechanical nightmares under lock and key and under constant surveillance for signs of rebellion. Even if one of these ancient machines were to break free of its captors, it could spell the doom of millions.
Okay, so let me see if I understand this now. After having that back and forth, he basically apologizes for coming off as eager and rude, and that he realizes he can't lead his group like he does his knights. And then the one dude, the white-haired one, is pretty much saying that they're there to unite humankind either by force, or they'll join freely of their, because of what they can offer. Which I'm guessing is why that was called the Crusade of that. I'm not 100% sure there. But, okay, so it's already showing that there is a divide kind of happening. The others are, I want to say stronger, but more or less they're more getting more popular and they're getting bigger. And I'm not sure if Lion is annoyed or jealous of that yet, or just really wanting to prove himself. But it feels like he's almost going his adopted father's route in the whole, like, maybe starting to become envious of the other groups. Not exactly there, but very, very closely similar, because he really wants to get out there. But maybe that's just the warrior calling in him. I'm not really positive. But, the artwork is cool, and I paused on a really cool transition here, and I love this shadowy picture, and then image of a person, and then you got the background. That's accidental artwork layering there, and I like it. It's really nice. I've been trying to talk, but my brain is so distracted. Again, bright colors, just the way they blend. Plus, who doesn't love a good either sunrise, sunset? I'm gonna assume sunset, but I mean, ignore the burning fires down below. It's still a pretty picture.
The lion was nothing if not stubborn to a fault. Often this resolute attitude would result in him getting in his own way, his detractors capitulating to his overwhelming personality. Not so for Leman Russ, the Wolf King of Fenris.
Okay, hold on.
Personality. Not so for Leman Russ.
Leman Rust here. Now, that was the image I saw, this one here, when I was drawing my chibi one, which I should have brought him, but I can't help it. I like my Sanguinius. But, this is what I used as a reference to try to understand how to draw it and get the armor color right, and the bronze, and it's surprisingly difficult on a little chibi. I still love this picture. It screams, like everybody says, Viking. And you got the wolves. The way it's incorporated into the armor is just, especially that symbol on the chest. It's actually one of my most favorites. And I'm not sure what that writing is along the sword, but I like that too. Just not sure if it actually says anything, or if it's just like rune markings of some type. All of it's beautiful, and I love it.
The Wolf King of Fenris. When the lion broke his word in the name of expediency by killing the planetary ruler of Dulan, that Russ himself had marked for death, the wrath of the Primarch of the 6th Legion burned as hot as a Fenrisian winter runs cold.
Wait,
Primarch
what happened here?
Fenris. When the personality. Not so for Leman Russ, the Wolf King of Fenris. When the lion broke his word in the name of expediency by killing the planetary ruler of Dulan, that Russ himself had marked for death, the wrath of the Primarch of the 6th Legion burned as hot as a Fenrisian winter runs cold. After
Okay, so I think I stopped on what I'm about to say. So, if I'm understanding what I just heard, the lion killed a guy in the name of efficiency, and like, I'm just get rid of this guy. And Russ was over there like, hold up, that was mine. You kill stealing jerk. I marked that. I called dibs, and you took it. Which is what started, I guess, from this picture. They don't like each other. It seems like the lion has this talent to make people not 100% like him. Not but on well, I guess you could say killing this guy was on purpose, but definitely taking his dad off, or his adopted dad, was not on purpose, I don't think. So, interesting. And this picture is kind of making me giggle, because It really shows their personality so well. The smugness of Lion because he knows he's good at what he's done, and he he's proud of everything he's achieved probably up to this point. And then you got Russ, who's like, you're a kill stealing SOB. And is not happy. I just hear little wolf growls in my head, like, you know. I don't do a good growl, but that's what I hear. It's little growls.
Bearing one too many insults from the lion, Russ let his fury get the better of him, and the two brothers fought. Their duel was long and bloody, taking longer than any mortal men could last without collapsing, and destroying the palace of the dead planetary ruler in the process. Eventually, when the demigods were at their limits, bones fractured, armor damaged to the point of breakage, and enough blood spilled between them to drown a man, Leman Russ laughed. He laughed like he had never laughed before, his howls echoing across the ruined walls of the palace. What was the purpose of all of this? After all, they were both sons of the same father and generals of the same army. In light of the foolishness on display, what was there to do but laugh at the pointlessness of it all? He never saw the lion's fist that knocked him unconscious, breaking his skull in the process. This battle, while devastating for both Primarchs involved, eventually led to a bond of brotherhood between the Marines of each legion. Even to this very day, whenever the Space Wolves and the Dark Angels meet, an honor duel is held between chosen champions of each chapter in remembrance of their fathers.
Okay, so basically they beat each other to a bloody pulp. And then Russ started laughing because he realized, dude, we're equally matched. This is stupid. And the other guy was still a little mad about that and knocked him out, breaking his skull. And from then on, they were like, we're brothers. We're good with each other. And their legions, which always mimic their Primarchs, to this day, every once in a while they meet up and they're like, you want to throw down? And they're like, yes. And then they beat each other up, and then they go and have, I don't know if they drank beer, but they go and probably kill some heretics. That's kind of what I'm understanding, and I'm actually loving that. I think it's really cool. The bonding over a fist fight, gotta love it. And this artwork right here, just they're about the duel. You can't see it, so let me move a bit. But yeah, he's got his weapon there in his hand. That turn of the body, yeah, they're ready to definitely fight. And then what you got over here, let me get out of the way again, is on the far left. You see one guy with the sword up, and he's cheering it on. He's ready for this fight. And I wonder if the fight's just like their fathers. It's futile in the end because they're evenly matched. Also, the double-headed wolf thing on the backpack, whatever those are called, I like that. Though the skull on the other armor with the jetpack is also really good too. Yes, I know I'm not a fan of green, but 40K has been showing me things that lets certain colors slip by. Like me wearing a gold character on my head, since I like silver, but Blood Angel's gold is beautiful. And in this case, this light green with the white, it really sings to me. But yeah, I love that they just meet up and punch each other. That is just too fun.
After the triumph at Ulanor, the greatest battle seen thus far against the Green Skin menace, the Emperor revealed to his Primarch sons that he would be stepping down from the crusade. Instead of striding alongside his sons and soldiers on the field of battle, he would be returning to Terra, the cradle of humanity, to work on a project of utmost secrecy. While the Primarchs and Astartes were crestfallen to lose the Master of Mankind, the Emperor decreed that one of the Primarchs, Horus Lupercal, then Primarch of the Lunar Wolves, would be elevated to the new position of War Master. With this new mantle of responsibility,
Yeah, give him a job. It's not like that's going to be a problem or anything. No. Nope, it's fine. It's not like the guy on my head has ever had anything bad happen. when, dealing with Mr. Shiny Top here. No, it's fine. No, it's gonna work out really well, and it's gonna be sunshine and kittens, and it's going to be fine. Yeah.
Horus would have all the authority of the Emperor of Mankind himself when it came to matters of war. All forces, Primarchs, and Astartes would be his to command, and the conquest of the galaxy would be prosecuted at his word. While the newly appointed War Master was positively received by many, the Lion felt that he had been passed over, and that he would have been a better pick for the position.
You know what? I think
Nevertheless,
he would have
the
been.
Lord of the First begrudgingly accepted Horus's new status during a conversation with his father, the Emperor, as seen in Lionel Johnson, Lord of the First.
You were not the first of my sons to reclaim a place at my side, but your tally of victories is second to no other. Even Horus looks upon them with envy. Horus inspires, Magnus enlightens, Lorgar illuminates. Robute raises an Imperium in miniature that celebrates his name and yours. I have left as many worlds behind me as any two of my brothers combined. But I fear that darkness and ash will be the legacy I leave to your Imperium.
The Emperor considered long, as he often did before giving an answer.
In the time of the Egypta, there was an empress named Hatshepsut. By all accounts of her that survive, she was an equitable and proficient ruler by the standards of her time. She rebuilt her land in the wake of war and occupation, erecting great monuments and bringing prosperity to her people. She reassembled the Egypta's navy, using it to re-establish their old empire, and launched military campaigns against the nations who had once been their oppressors. A legacy whose parallels are not hard to see. And yet, those who came after did all within their power to ensure she would have no legacy.
Yeah.
Her name was chiseled from every monument, her every deed and triumph stricken from public record. Even her body was removed from its royal tomb. Why, if her reign was so equitable? Because those who succeeded her desired it. Because sometimes what comes before is too troublesome to be paved over in rockcrete, to amend with a monument to compliance or a golden aquila on an imperial flag. Sometimes it is enough only that it be destroyed, that no trace of it but darkness and ash be left to endure. And yet history still remembers this empress. Emperor Thutmose III did not have the Dark Angels. It is a pity that your campaigns kept you from the triumph,
Said the Emperor, referring to Horus Lupercal's ascension to War Master.
Your presence was missed by your brothers. Horus, in particular, spoke to me of his regret.
Sure.
He knows that I would have attended had I been able. You are troubled. The Imperium celebrates, but its triumph is empty. The galaxy is not won because Horus has his great victory.
Yep.
Recall my words to you. Ulanor is just another victory. Then why the pageantry? Some men demand such pomp. They cannot accept the end of one era and the commencement of another without an occasion by which to mark it and give it meaning. Laurels must be given, honors and fair titles invented so that they may be bestowed upon favored generals. Some men need recognition.
The Lion felt the Emperor behold him, his firstborn son.
Some men do not.
Okay. So, what I'm getting from this, because that conversation was a bit long, is that it felt like there was a lot of foreshadowing in that too, is that from the story of talking about the Egyptian or the the queen or whatever from that time, whose name was stricken from records, even though they did a good job, because the person who followed after it was basically jealous, is that because Lion is so good at what he does, the Emperor knows it, and knows that he doesn't really need the recognition to continue to be great. Whereas it sounds like he's saying Horus is a big baby and needs to have recognition to feel like I did awesome and Dad praised me. That's how it sounds. I know somebody's going to type that I got that completely wrong, because I know a lot of you like to get very mad at me when I grr at Horus, but I'm just saying that's how that sounded in that conversation. That it almost sounded like Horus is jealous of the lion because the lion is really good at what he does, and Horus is used to being the favorite child and is not enjoying somebody else creeping up on that status. I could be completely wrong. I get that. Maybe I completely misinterpret that, or maybe I'm just using too much knowledge of what I know will happen, that it's blurred that conversation into something it's not. But either way, I do feel like at the end he was just trying to say, you don't need the accolades to continue to be awesome, because you are awesome. At least that's how I'm understanding it. I don't know if that's going to be a bad thing for Lion. I feel like Lion's level-headed enough that he's going to be like, okay, you're right, I don't need the recognition, but it still kind of sucks that I didn't get the promotion, but you're right, I don't need the recognition. But I have a feeling his being really good at what he does is really going to bite him in the butt soon here. Either from Horus or from Horus, and I think Luthar is still around, so somebody here is going to probably knock him down a peg because he is good at what he does.
During the compliance of the world of Sarosh, the lion, much like his father, would experience an assassination attempt of his own. Not wanting to join the Imperium, the Saroshi nobles had a nuclear bomb on a shuttle being used to meet with the Primarch upon his flagship, the Invincible Reason. This attempt on Lionel Johnson's life was only foiled because Luther and Zahariel happened to be in the hangar inspecting the very shuttle that the Saroshi nobles arrived on. At this time, Luther's jealousy nearly got the better of him. Despite Zahariel's pleading, he continued to hesitate. This could be the chance to take back the glory that was rightfully his. Without the lion in the way, perhaps Luther could become the leader of the Dark Angels once again. This could be the chance for Sir Luther of Caliban to show his quality.
See, I told you. Okay, that's another fade-in screen that has this strong thing. But I knew it. I knew it had to be. See, I was just wanting to blame Horus, but I knew Lucifer? Yes, that's his name now. Luther is going to be a problem. The man cannot let it go. It's like you're washed up, dude. Well, not exactly, but just get over your petty jealousy here. Seriously. Could be so much more if you just let it go, but no. So yeah, I'm at least I know I was right, and I'm still thinking I have to be correct on that. He's the one that runs from the bird, and I'm gonna assume it's because of something he's gonna be doing probably here.
The thought left him as quickly as it had arrived. What was he doing? If he did nothing, then not only would the lion die, but himself as well, and hundreds of Calibanite Astartes. With the help of Zahariel, the two were able to jettison the shuttle into the cold void of space. However, the ensuing explosion would cause great damage to the Invincible Reason. and would kill several dozen crew members. The Lion was furious, and in his fury, he questioned Luther as to how something like this could have happened. Unsatisfied with the answers Luther provided, the Lion made the decision to split the Legion down the middle and sent all Dark Angels of Calibanite descent back home, along with Luther and Zahariel. While this was officially to have Luther raise a strong reserve of Dark Angels to ensure that the Legion remained at full force, Luther himself could only view it as exile. Much like how the Primarchs felt abandoned by their father, the Emperor, Luther and the Calibanite-born Dark Angels were being abandoned by their father in turn.
Okay, hold up. First of all, Gothic castle look. I love it. Now I'm a little annoyed at Lucifer. I keep going to call him Lucifer. Luther's reason. He thought, even if it was a brief moment, he thought about, I could let this just kill that guy because I'm jealous of him. Now, the fact that he didn't, you could argue, well, see, he's still good, but exiling him made him bad. No. Dude's already was heading down that road. He was just looking for a trigger to really just make what he wanted to do justify it. And I have a feeling he's going to do something. He went back with those other Dark Angels, and I know, again, not because I know he gets chased by a bird, but I just know that somebody with that type of jealousy, and I can't stand somebody who was my weaker being now better than me, like, the apprentice has now become the master. Master not happy with that because they always want to be the master kind of thing. Yeah, nothing good comes of that. And he's taking this as an insult, like, I saved your life and I did this, and it's like, yeah, but you're clearly starting to let things get bad because of your emotions. Now, it's sad that he kind of exiled everybody of that descent back with it. It's not an exile, but sent them back. It does look wrong, but I mean, I get the strategy. We split it in two. We make it stronger. You build up a giant force. I build up a giant force, and we put them together, and boom. But doing that where they're all from the same place and sending them all together, it does look like an exile. And yeah, that's going to cause way too many bitter feelings. He should have mixed other guys into it. That might have lessened the effect. But I guess he was trying to think efficiently. I'm not positive, but yeah, this is not gonna go well.
The Horus heresy set the galaxy aflame and tore the Imperium of Man asunder. Half of the Primarchs and their legions threw their lot in with the new Warmaster, Horus Lupercal. However, not all of the traitors openly declared for the arch-traitor. At least,
Hold up. Wait.
The Calibanite-born Dark Angels were being abandoned by their father in turn. The Horus heresy set the galaxy aflame and tore the Imperium of Man asunder. Half of the Primarchs and their legions threw their lot in with the new Warmaster, Horus Lupercal. However, not all of the traitors openly declared for the arch-traitor. At least, not at first. After securing powerful siege weapons from the world of Diamat, the Lion turned them over to Perturabo for safekeeping. Tragically, Perturabo had already turned traitor unbeknownst to the Loyalists, and using the weapons the Lion had given him, would take part in the horrific Istvan drop site massacre. Horus knew that he had no hope of defeating the remaining Loyalist legions if they presented themselves as a cohesive, unified force. He would have to separate them and destroy them piecemeal, leaving the prize of terror for last. To this end, he directed the Night Lord's Legion to the eastern fringes of the galaxy to prosecute the Thramas Crusade.
Okay, I just back up the bit. Hold on.
Them and destroyed them piecemeal, leaving the prize of terror for last.
Yeah,
to this end, he directed the Night Lord's Legion to the east.
That, again, love it. Love the artwork, and Night Lord's aesthetic is always just really cool. I'm looking at all the colors, the armor. Again, it's always with fire. Why is that? But Yep, I like this battle scene. It's so good. This artwork is always so good.
And Fringes of the Galaxy to prosecute the Thramus Crusade, a bloody 3-year genocide across many loyalist worlds. At the invitation of Conrad Kurz, Lionel Johnson journeyed to the barren world of Seguelsa, where the Night Haunter attempted to regale the Lord of the First with a prophecy about the Dark Angel's future. The Lion was unimpressed and losing patience with his brother's theatrics, and their meeting eventually broke down into vicious single combat. The Hunter fought the Haunter in a storm of speed and steel, neither Primarch able to score a decisive blow on the other. While Conrad was cursed with the gift of foresight and could predict the Lion's strikes, the Primarch of the First's instincts were so sharp that they bordered on precognition themselves. Sword strikes that appeared to move one way would suddenly veer off to the side, confounding the Night Haunter's predictions. Their duel ended in a bloody stalemate, Kurz impaled through the spine by the sword of Corswain, who was nearby, and the Lion suffering from a lacerated throat. Both Primarchs were dragged away by their sons to lick their wounds and plan their next moves. The Thramus Crusade continued.
Okay. So, a lot of stuff's going down. I hit my mic. So, he goes up against the Night Lords. Again, another stalemate when two Primarchs are fighting. And they took a lot of hits and then had to be dragged away by their own legions. That's interesting. So much is going on. The Horus Heresy, apparently a lot has gone down. And yes, I will eventually get to the Horus Heresy. But, all this guy wanted was some peace and quiet on the planet he was on. And now he's in this whole bunch of mess. And I have a feeling we have not seen the last of Luther. He's probably going to be in here too. So let's see what's happening here.
Continued following the pattern of Lionel Johnson hunting his murderous brother across the stars. Always one step behind the Night Haunter. After all, how was he supposed to catch a man that could see the future? After learning of a device known as the T'Chulcha engine that could help him coordinate much safer and faster warp jumps, the hunt for Conrad Kurz resumed. Eventually, during one of these jumps, the Invincible Reason fell victim to a demonic incursion. Discovering that these creatures of the warp were particularly vulnerable to the attacks of Psychers, the Lion reinstated the Dark Angel's Librarius, ignoring the Edict of Nicaea, set by the Emperor of Mankind himself, much to the dismay of one particular commander, as seen in The Lion.
Asmodeus, did your powers destroy the enemy?
The former librarian said nothing, but looked up at the Primarch and nodded.
Is this true?
The Lion stooped low to lay a hand on the shoulder of Asmodeus.
Were your powers capable of harming our attackers?
From the warp they come, and with the power of the warp they can be punished again.
He met the Primarch's gaze for a moment, then looked away.
Brother Emil is right, my liege. I have broken the oath I swore.
A grave crime, and one that I will be sure to prosecute properly when the current situation has been resolved.
Wait, I'm misunderstanding.
From the warp they come.
The Lion stooped
Say
low
this
to lay a
again.
hand on the shoulder of Asmodeus.
Were your powers capable of harming our attackers?
Right.
From the warp they come,
From the warp.
and with the power of the warp they can be punished again.
He met the Primarch's gaze for a moment, then looked
okay.
away.
Brother Emil is right, my liege. I have broken the oath I swore.
A grave crime, and one that I will be sure to prosecute properly when the current situation has been resolved.
The Lion looked at Nemiel.
There are two others of the Librarium aboard, Hasfael and Alberain. Bring them here.
This is a mistake, my liege. The abominations that attack us, these Nephilah, are a conjunction of sorceries. I swore an oath also to uphold the Edict of Nicaea. To unleash further sorcery will endanger us even more. Think again, my liege.
I have issued an order, Brother Nemiel.
One that I cannot follow.
My authority is absolute.
The Edict of Nicaea was issued by the Emperor. My liege, there is no higher authority.
Enough!
The Lion's roar was so loud it caused Corswain's autosensors to dampen his hearing, as if he were in proximity of an explosion. The Lion moved, and a split second later, a cracked, skull-faced helm was spinning through the dull, glowing lights of the Strategium, cutting a bloody arc through the air. Nemiel's headless corpse clattered to the floor as the lion held up his hand, pieces of ceramite embedded in the fingertips of his gore-spattered gauntlet. While the death of Nemiel left a lasting impression on the lion and his sons present, there were more pressing matters at hand. A greater demon of Zeech had...
Okay, so we're gonna stop here because it sounds like he's about to go into some other stuff. So what I'm understanding is I'm trying to understand why it just happened. So I'm just wrapping my brain around it. You have him angry about trying to take out this enemy using, I think he called them the Liberium, and the Liberium people are using warp power, I guess sorcery, which this guy, forgot what his name is, the dude in the black armor, that I thought the armor looked really good, who was like, the Emperor made this rule, and we're breaking this rule. You just gotta stop, don't break that rule. And the other dude, Lion, loses his cool and takes his head off. I'm gonna assume there's gonna be a punishment for that, right? There's gotta be a repercussion for taking that dude's head off? Or is that like, it's okay? I'm gonna assume that I'll find out here, hopefully, in the rest of this video. But for now, I think this is definitely where we're gonna stop. I have tried to follow this as best I could. I think I'm a little confused, so feel free to clear it up. I'm just a bit of an airhead today, so I might have just not fully wrapped my brain around the information I was trying to absorb there. But I want to say, if you made it to this point in the video, as I always say, you're awesome and you rock. And let me know if you guys like this first Legion here, Lion and stuff, and if you're, you know, a fan of that and collect the minis, what was it that drawed you to them? What was the thing that made you go, that's my group, that's the one I'm collecting?
broken into real space and was threatening to bring a sudden stop to everything that the Dark Angels had broken into one's present.
Alright, here we go. So we can catch up on what he was actually saying.
A greater demon
here.
of Zeech had broken into
Zeech,
real space and was threatening to bring a sudden stop to everything that the Dark Angels had fought for. This demon's name was Kairos Fateweaver, and it claimed to be able to see the future and the past in equal measure.
Okay, that's interesting. So it could see the future and past, and it's got the two. See, this is that weird two-headed bird thing I was talking about. Zeech's mutated child is just weird. I know it's not really his kid, but the thing kind of freaks me out. It actually reminds me of that weird troll thing, two-headed troll thing from the movie Willow. If you guys haven't seen that creature, watch Willow. You'll understand what the two-headed troll thing is. It kind of reminds me of that. That's the level of yucky queer creepiness that just creeps into my mind. Yeah, definitely weird.
Kairos Fateweaver, and it claimed to be able to see the future and the past in equal measure. The demon attempted to convert the Primarch to chaos, but the heart of the Night King of Caliban could not be swayed. After the battle, the greatest servant of Zeech found itself banished back to the warp with the lion's blade through its heart. Using the aforementioned T'Chulcha engine, the Lord of the First was finally able to get the drop on the Night Lords. After dueling his brother for a second time, the greatest beast of Caliban left the Primarch of the Night Lords in a coma. Though he was recovered by his sons, the Night Haunter soon boarded the Invincible Reason and began to reap a bloody butcher's bill aboard the Gloriana-class battleship. Though the lion hunted his brother for the next 16 weeks, he would never catch him.
Okay, so hold up. Let's back this up. So they continued to fight, and he put that guy right there. You could kind of see the
and began to
yeah, there he is. Conrad, I believe his name is, put him in a coma. Dang. And I guess what he said is once he got out, he started beating the crap out of everybody on the ship. Am I understanding this right?
A bloody butcher's bill aboard the Gloriana-class battleship. Though the lion hunted his brother for the next 16 weeks, he would never catch him.
Okay. So he kept chasing him, but he never got him. So one guy, Logar, runs from a bird, and it sounds like Conrad runs from the kitty. Starting to sound like a Tom and Jerry cartoon in my head for some reason. Also, I know this image is starting to fade, but again, the artwork was beautiful. Even with this fade out effect that's on here. Let's see if we can back up. I love that one, of course. But again, just beautiful artwork. The shine there on the halo, on the Primarch's head, on that shoulder. Just that hint of light going down into that darkness and that red highlight coming from below. It's like a heaven hell versatility to it, and I really love that. And then you got all the Marines back there with their glowing eyes and that little bit of red on their armor really just popping out. I just artwork every time gets me. Can't help but love it.
Hunted his brother for the next 16 weeks, he would never catch him. The betrayal at Calth not only crippled the Ultramarines, but it also unleashed the Ruined Storm, a warp storm of truly breathtaking size. With this warp anomaly in place, Loyalist forces could not traverse the warp, due to the Astronomicon being completely obscured. The First Legion as a whole seemed dead in the water until a pure light shone through the warp, illuminating Macragge, homeworld of his brother, Rabute Gilliman. Not wasting this opportunity, the Dark Angels and their Primarch made for the homeworld of the Ultramarines, with Conrad Kurz still stalking the bowels of the Invincible Reason. Upon arriving at Macragge, the Lion and Gilliman were at odds nearly immediately. Gilliman wanted to take charge of his home, and the Lion staunchly believed that he knew best on almost all matters. To add another variable to an already complex situation, the Night Haunter was about to do something that would reveal a side of the Lion that none had ever seen before. During a feast to strengthen relations between the Ultramarines and their Dark Angels guests, the drop pod bays of the Invincible Reason opened up, releasing their bellicose cargo into the skies above Macragge, as seen in the Unremembered Empire.
Great terror. I felt it. I felt it there. The surge of minds. Hundreds of minds suddenly alert with anticipation. What did you do, my lord? What did you just do?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Lion began, but his words were cut off by the sudden chiming of multiple alert monitors, swiftly followed up by a blare of palace klaxons. Gilliman threw back his chair and stood up.
Report!
Mass orbital launch. The Dark Angel's flagship is just... It is just launched a full drop pod assault on Macragge, Civitas.
What?
Assault swarm confirmed by all stations.
Gilliman's sword was in his fist and aimed tip first across the table at the Lion.
Is this your treachery?
No.
The Lion did not flinch despite the blade hovering at his throat. Some of his officers had drawn swords at the threat to their master. He waved them back urgently.
The grid does not lie. Drop pod swarm from your ship. In...
Okay, so wait. I'm trying to understand the big event here. So... Conrad opened the ship up and sent out, I guess, bombs. And I'm assuming the place he's hitting is very important, though I don't recognize the name, so I don't understand the importance, other than it's making Rabute very unhappy. So, interesting. Now, it said this is when we see a side of the Lion that's not been seen before. I'm assuming he's going to lose his temper and become a very, very, very angry kitty. But I kind of don't blame him, because you're getting him blamed for a whole bunch of stuff he didn't do right now. And I got distracted by this picture. You guys can't see it. Hold on, let me move. Boop, onto the other side. There we go. The seals on this Ultramarines thing has the U on it, and it's like a cog. I actually like that. That's actually really kind of cool. But boop, there we go. So I'm wonder what Conrad's thing is. Is it to, well, I'm assuming to cause chaos. It sounds like he's just, I'm gonna make trouble. Yep, and sit back and watch everything just unfold into complete chaos. That's how I'm understanding it. yeah, so this is interesting. I wonder what the lion's gonna do about this.
Bound.
You attack me? I swear not! Stand down! Someone explain this!
Signal is confirmed. The Invincible Reason has launched a drop pod assault.
Condemned from their own lips.
This is a mistake, a malfunction, a mislaunch.
How exactly do you accidentally launch a drop pod assault, brother? This is a malfunction! I swear so! Accident or not, the pods will not reach the city. Our shields are raised. Our batteries will have full lock. We will burn them out of the sky.
The lion swallowed hard and stared directly at Gilliman.
This is a mistake, brother. A terrible mistake, I swear it. I implore you, spare my warriors. Your warriors? 400 drop pods. A great number of battle brothers. Please, Robute, please. This is a mistake, an error. All this time, while we talked of the future, your drop pods were loaded and ready with assault troops? What do you suggest I do, brother? Lower the city shields? Yes, drop your shields and allow the pods to make controlled landings.
Less than a minute remaining, my Primarch.
You cannot open the city to them, Lord. It is too great a risk. You must fire and eliminate them.
Please, I did not authorize this. But it is an attack force you had prepared and held in waiting. A precaution. You would have done the same.
We must fire now, while they're still in optimum range. You must give the order.
Please, Robute.
Gilliman glanced sidelong at the library.
Okay, I really can't ever take it serious whenever you hear his last name, Rubude, because I hear rub the booty. That's all I hear. Okay, so now what I'm trying to understand is what happened was I thought at first, I didn't say it, but I thought Conrad had somehow got his soldiers into the drop pods, and I actually thought the drop pods were bombs with like soldiers in it, but no, it's just soldiers or warriors. So he wasn't positive how this negotiation or talk was going to go. I call it a negotiation, but this conversation with his brother was going to go, because they both are blonde and hard-headed apparently. And so he had it pre-set up with warriors in case he needed it. And now, because Conrad's wreaking havoc on the ship, Conrad released those warriors and dropped it down, which Robute is trying to figure out really quick if this was a malfunction or a tactical maneuver to attack him. That's a tough place to be, because on one hand, you want to trust your brother here that he's not going to attack you, but if you are wrong, you don't just doom the people in that city. You're taking a hit to your own people and your pride and everything else. You would shake confidence even as a leader. So yeah, that's going to be a tricky one. I'm not really sure what he could. I'm hoping he lowers the shields, but it's 40k, so probably it's not going to happen.
Librarian Prato.
Your brother is close to me, but I can see enough to tell he is telling the truth.
Oh.
Perhaps not the whole truth, but enough of it. He did not authorize this attack. He is horrified by it.
Gilliman looked back at the lion.
Ah! Hold fire! Power down! Lower the shields and let them land!
My lord!
Do it!
Gilliman returned his gaze to the Primarch of the First.
Do not make me regret this, brother.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't want
The
to.
drop pods had not only brought a fresh wave of mistrust betwixt the lion and...
I'm not surprised that there's a mistrust between them, but my goodness, look at this duality of artworks here. Oh. Now, I have seen the lion drawn in a lot of different colored armors. Now, this one seems to be the black one with the red in for the sword and wings. Now, I've seen that in silver and in like this greenish gray blue color. I don't know which one I like, but to be honest, this one's not bad with the Valkyrie style helmet. I kind of like I call it Valkyrie's helmet whenever I see wings on a helmet, because I don't know what else to call them. And then we got Rabute over here, Rub My Booty, who's definitely rocking the Caesar Roman Emperor style look. And I love that you got the medieval knight versus the Roman guy. And I love the aesthetic. It's really good. Especially with the laurels. You got it going up around the halo. You got this cloth draping there around his waist. Very ornate armor, where you got the lion over here in this very plain See, this just goes back to what we were talking about in the previous video, where the emperor was telling the lion, you, unlike Horus, you don't need the accolades. You're kind of like you get things done because you know it's the right thing to do. And his armor kind of reflects that. Like, he doesn't need to show off everything on his armor. He just wants to be a good person, good warrior. And then you got Rabute, who's, I'm not saying is a bad person, but definitely, I believe the more decorated your armor is, either you're way into fashion, or this was his way of getting tattoos in 40K, or he needs the accolade. He needs to show that he is what, you know, I'm perfect. I am great. I'm good at what I do. I am, you know, I'm assuming it's like I would be emperor if the emperor wasn't here, sort of thing. That's a vibe I get, and that's not necessarily what he's doing there, obviously, but that's how I read the character when I look at images of him. I know he has less ornate armor. I've seen him in it, but he does strike me as very proud and very high on his own ego type of character, which is a complete contrast here to Lion. Lion has extreme amount of pride, because obviously, but he's also oddly humble in some ways. So you kind of got a little bit of a duality there, and I can understand why these two clash. They both believe they are superior in the way that they approach things, so that causes a very big clash. Typical sibling thing, like, I'm better. No, I'm better. It's anything you can do, I can do better type of mentality, I think.
Gilliman. Indeed, they had brought something much worse. While the Invincible Reason was one of the largest ships in all of humanity's navy, it was still an effective means of containing its passengers, especially ones that were better left sequestered. The planet of Macragge, by comparison, was an infinitely larger playground for the nightmare that was Conrad Kurz. Working together, Rabute Gilliman and the Lion managed to corner him several times, but the Night Haunter was always one step ahead.
Well, first of all, this picture, I love the fact that 40K was like, hey, you see this guy that screams vampire? Yeah, no, it's actually the pretty little wing guys in the gold shiny armor that looks like they belong out in the sun that are the vampires. This guy, theater kid, emo kid who runs around the school and says, I'm a vampire. I know emo kids and goth kids and vampire kids are all different. I seen South Park. I know they're different. But no, I in my school we had them separated. We know they're different. But no, he's yeah, he's not something you want to accidentally unleash on your planet. I know he can be basically a comic book villain if there ever was one. Like, Batman would be like, oh man, who let this out? But at the same time, look at this art. This is cool. It screams the whole vampire, you know, I stalk in the night kind of thing. But it also has, it almost has a really old school feel to it. Like, I could see this as one of those 90s animations, like, you know, the old Batman cartoon, or like even Batman Beyond and things like that. Oh, heck, even go Gargoyles. It's just that type of style, but very dark, and I love it. I want to say I like it, but no, I love it. It's really good. But, I mean, I love the fact that they cornered him and he keeps escaping. I mean, we learned from a previous video that the Night Lords were, they were kind of assassin type too. They were very, very good at like, how did somebody put it? With them, they, you know they're there, but you can't see them, or something like that. Where the other ones is, you don't know they're there, and you can't see them. I believe that was the Alpha Legion, if I'm remembering. I might be getting a little confused. But I remember his was like stealthy and assassin style. If I remember the Night Lord's thing. I might have to go get a refresh on that. Or you guys just leave a comment. Refresh my memory about the Night Lord's abilities. Were they the stealth assassins that I'm thinking of? Or am I getting this wrong in a video again? Please let me have this one right. I don't want to make another editor's note. But if I am right, that's why he keeps getting away. It's like, you know, he disappeared. I'm sorry, the minute I started to say something, it popped in my head of him walking through a city and they're looking for him and he's like, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious. And, you know, playing some like Mission Impossible music, like doo doo doo. No, nobody sees it. I don't know why that all came into my mind, but I just had to share it because it makes me giggle. Especially that he keeps slipping away from him. Yeah. It's just like Kronk from Emperor's New Groove. Except people are just like, okay, there's a weird guy going by, just don't look at it. I don't know if they do that with him. I'm pretty sure they literally just don't see him unless he wants to be seen. But he is one of my favorite characters. I know his group is really dark and messed up, but aesthetically he is just really cool to look at, and it's fun to learn about this character because he is apparently a ball of walking chaos, and it is fun to just dive into the thinking and logic of those characters. My friend who's watching this, the Wolfman as I call him, he sometimes he's a walking ball of chaos, and I know when I said that, he just grinned. Because we have played games together, and if something's going to go crazy, it's probably his doing or his creation. Give him automation, and it's chaos unleash. And I feel like Conrad is that type of... Well, Conrad's farther than my friend will ever go, clearly. But definitely loves the joy of the chaos they make. Except Conrad's is usually in the form of, you know, murder and violence and more murder. Yeah.
To further complicate matters,
Baldman.
a recently resurrected Vulcan was also rampaging
Oh,
around
Vulcan,
the area,
okay.
hell-bent on killing Kurz himself. Eventually, Sanguinius, Primarch of the Blood...
Just gonna pop over here. Y'all just take a moment to, you know, look at that glorious, beautiful being that is right there. That's my Primarch. I just needed a moment. I have no clue what he just said. He said Sanguinius, and my attention went out the window. I now have to back up to even know what he's talking about. Oh, he has golden laurels in his hair too. It's really cute. Oh, and there's that cloth right there of the cat that somebody said he defeated in one of his stories. Eventually, I will get to Sanguinius when I start going through the Primarchs, and I will get to his speech and the stuff about Horus. But till then, I can just, you know, be very happy whenever he appears on the screen. But I will control myself. There we go. And let's back up, because I really don't remember what he was talking about. So, what was it?
Further complicate matters, a recently resurrected Vulcan was also rampaging around the area, hell-bent on killing Kurz himself. Eventually, Sanguinius, Primarch of the Blood Angels Legion, would also arrive at Macragge, drawn from Cygnus Prime by the...
Oh, I've not seen this art. Let's pop over here. Go in the demon's mouth. There we go. I have not seen this this artwork of Sanguinius and that armor. Props to the artist because the amount of work to draw all of that details and lines there on the chest plate itself and on the shoulder part, and even that halo in the back has it. That amount of detail. I'm hoping they used a brush or they manually drawed every single one of those lines. Power to them, because as somebody who used to do that until I learned to copy paste or use a brush that I could just paint some of these lines on. Yeah, hand drawing that can be such a pain. But oh wow, this is gorgeous. And you got the big white wings, even better. And I think he's got some kind of spear here, so the spear even looks like it's rope, but it's all metal. Like, this is the cool thing. It's all one color, but that little drops of red and the blonde in the hair and the skin tone and the white, even though the colors are similar in the armor, these little other pops of colors break it up just enough that it just doesn't look like a blob of this bronzy gold. And it's gorgeous. Okay, enough of me fangirling over the beautiful Sanguinius art. We'll continue.
Light of the Pharos beacon, discussions were held between the Lion, Rabute, and Sanguinius regarding the steps they would take to ensure the Imperium's survival.
Okay, so these three guys got together and said, all right, we got to work out how to make the Imperium survive, and also somebody get Conrad back on his leash. He is a bad bat. I was going to say puppy, but he's not a puppy. That would be Russ. Russ is the puppy. I don't think he's a bad puppy. He's just a very, very determined puppy. But what I love is it's the three blonde-haired guys. And now I'm wondering, answer this in the comments, how many of the Primarchs are blonde? Are they all blonde? I know a couple of them, I think a few of them are bald. But, I guess the Chaos ones, they're bald. No, they're not. Conrad has long black hair. What am I thinking? Yeah, let me know how many of them are actually blonde. Because I'm just starting to know. I think the Emperor was blonde, right? Or no, or am I confusing it again? I thought he was blonde, but he's not. I've gone and got myself all mixed up now because there's just so many blonde-haired characters, and my brain is just lost in the hair color. But yeah, we'll continue. But let me know in the comments the hair color of the Primarchs, because I feel like there's just a lot of blonde people.
Rabute and Sanguinius regarding the steps they would take to ensure the Imperium's survival. As far as they knew, Terra may be completely gone along with their father.
Okay, first of all, let's go.
Survival. As far as...
Alright, so according by the looks of this, it was dark hair. See, I keep thinking he has blonde hair, but he probably was dark haired. This is probably the most horrific look I have seen yet of the Emperor. And I'm assuming this is him on the Golden Throne, being kept alive, and he's this corpse on the throne. That is dark. And just, I mean, look how holy it's trying to look blessed, but it's a shriveled corpse being forced to stay alive. And it's just, oh, that's wild. And you got the big lion head on the shoulder piece too. Wow, this is really good artwork. Really, really tells a story here. And it's crazy. I just keep looking all over it. Just the lighting, the way it's just the expression on the face, the way the hands is like crumpled up like it's gripping at his chest. It's just definitely screams like suffering and agony, and the corpse thing is definitely expressed as well. Ah, this is another good artwork.
They knew Terra may be completely gone along with their father. Not accepting that this could be the end of humanity's greatest effort, the three brothers resolved to form Imperium Secundus, with Sanguinius installed as Imperator Regis, Guilliman as...
Yay! Oh, I'm sorry. I just had to take a moment. And I don't know why here, this particular artwork, his hair looks like really tight spiral curls. And now in my head, I'm like, why does he have like Shirley Temple's hair? And if you don't know who Shirley Temple is, very old, I guess you could call her a child actress from, God, what was it? The black and white era of movies. Look her up. She did a lot of tap dancing and singing. But yeah, that's that curly tight hair was what it makes me think of. But it's definitely, it's out of place in my head. It's like does not look like it. Like it looks like somebody slapped a baby doll's hairstyle on his head, and it broke me. The other one who looks kind of normal in this picture is Robote. He actually looks like a military guy. The guy on the far left here, which I believe is the lion, his beard doesn't match his hair color, so it's throwing my brain off. Because my brain's like, why is his beard not blonde? Shouldn't it be like lighter? I don't know. But interesting artwork nonetheless, especially the this cloth there on Sanguinius, that cheetah print, or I'm gonna call it a cheetah, that cat print pelt he's wearing. Kind of gives me want to say He-Man, but again, it's almost a Tarzan thing, except it feels like something the lion would have worn as a child. Just, oh, and there's the kitty's head right up there on the shoulder. I didn't even see it. I was so distracted by the hairstyle. But yeah, it's a very interesting look.
Lord Warden and the Lion as Lord Protector, a title with responsibilities similar to that of a War Master. Lion L. Johnson had finally gotten his wish. With curs still at large and with bodies stacking up by the day, the first order of business for the new triumvirate of rulers was to capture and pacify their animal of a brother.
Okay, so am I understanding this correctly? At this time, Kurds is just running around, or Conrad is just running around randomly killing anything and everything that gets in his way? Now, he skips over it in this, but somebody please explain what set him off and why was he just randomly killing, or is it just if you let him out he just randomly kills? That doesn't seem right. I'm assuming there's a reason, and his targets isn't purely random, that he is in his mind fighting the enemy, and all of them are enemies according to him. At least that's how I'm kind of understanding it. But yeah, clarify that up if you can in the comments about why he was on a killing spree, because I feel like we missed that key point of information.
Rebellions were cropping up all over the world, and it was likely that the murderous Primarch was behind their proliferation. After putting the entirety of Macragge under martial law and deploying the fearsome Dreadwing to put down rebels at various key locations around the planet, Lionel Johnson, the Hunt...
See, now this right here is how I've seen him a lot, is in that, like I said, that greenish blue color armor. Now this one is a very unique design. I love the design of these armors. They're so ornate and so wild that you wonder how they would actually be able to fight as a person in that, because functionally I'm pretty sure some of this would be more of a hindrance than anything. But that Grim Reaper with the angel wings as the back of his headpiece here, or his neck, whatever, the piece that goes around his neck and where the halo would normally be, that is just really good. And then you got just the lion symbol, again the skulls. You even got the lion paws on either side of his shoulders. It's definitely wild. And I love it. I'm just staring at it. This is so... I love detailed armor like this. You can see every little detail in this, and it's just... the more your eye goes over it, the more you just find stuff. And it's really, really good.
finally bagged his quarry. A third duel erupted between
Oh.
the two brothers that ended with Kurz's back being broken over the knee of the man who served as the template on which all of his younger brothers were modeled, an echo of what Leman Russ had done to Magnus the Red years before. Thus, the trial...
Wait. Who broke his back? It shows a fight. And I'm assuming that's Conrad. Now, who's that he's fighting? Is that... Broke his back. It was either Rabute or it was, obviously the lion. So which one of them did it? Because I'm a little confused. Either way, that's one way to lose.
Of the man who served as the template on which all of his younger brothers were modeled, an echo of what Leman Russ had done to Magnus the Red years before.
Oh,
Thus,
wow.
the trial of Conrad Kurz began. Lionel Johnson insisted that Kurz needed to die for them to be rid of him once and for all. But Sanguinius and Rabute Gilliman both prevented him from taking the Night Haunter's head.
Okay. I might not 100% agree with leaving him alive. I get the lion's point of view at this point. It's like, dude, he just killed a whole bunch of people. But I'm sure the Rabute and Sanguinius has a reason, which would probably like, if we kill him, there will be nobody to lead his Marines, and that'll be a problem because they might go weird without their leader. At least that's what I'm assuming. My head wants to say that they were like, listen, we need a token emo goth kid. He's ours. We got to keep him around. He's like their pet goth. They just got to keep the weird little brother. I know that's not what really happened. It's just in my head. Actually, it was probably more or less GW just going, we can't get rid of him. Why? Well, he's goth and looks like a vampire. That's going to pull in people. It did. But Sanguinius pulled me in more than Conrad. But I'm not gonna lie, Conrad's pretty cool looking. I'm not saying what he does is cool, but he looks like a vampire. It's not my fault. It's just really cool.
As a trophy, the lion stubbornly
Wait, what
and
is a trophy?
angrily both prevented him from taking the Night Haunter's head as a trophy.
Oh, okay.
The lion stubbornly and angrily insisted that the only thing that would bring peace was the death of Conrad Kurz. But after being banished from Imperium Secundus and having his sword broken, he returned to the invincible reason to brood.
Wait. See, this is where when you get recaps that sometimes skip information, it's kind of annoying. So, let's hear that again.
Thing that would bring peace was the death of Conrad Kurz. But after being banished from Imperium Secundus and having his sword broken,
He was banished and his sword broken. Because he wanted to kill Conrad, or was there another reason? See, this is why I said details matter. So somebody in the comments let me know. Was this because he was really, really wanting Conrad dead? Or is it because of something else that happened that caused him to get booted to where he is?
he returned to the invincible reason to brood. His thoughts drifted to his once adoptive father, Luther, and he reflected that his exile of the man that had taken him from the forest so long ago may have been the wrong choice. Suddenly, a single, awful, wonderful thought crystallized in his mind, and he raced off to the chamber of the Tucholcha engine. Arriving in front of the piece of ancient arcane technology, he ordered it to teleport him back to the throne room of Sanguinius. Arriving not a moment too soon, for the Red Angel was about to execute Kurz. L. Johnson begged for his younger brother to stay his hand, if only for a moment. He explained to both of his brothers that Conrad Kurz's vision of the future had shown him his own death at the hands of an assassin sent by their father, which meant that their father had to be alive to be able to send an assassin in the first place. Taking custody of Kurz, the Lion and his two brothers made to breach the ruin storm.
Wait, what? I am backing this up. This is a little confusing. So, let's hear that one more time.
So long ago may have been the wrong choice. Suddenly, a single, awful, wonderful thought crystallized in his mind, and he raced off to the chamber of the Tucholcha engine. Arriving in front of the piece of ancient arcane technology, he ordered it to teleport him back to the throne room of Sanguinius. Arriving not a moment too soon, for the Red Angel was about to execute Kurz. L. Johnson begged for his younger brother to stay his hand, if only for a moment. He explained to both of his brothers that Conrad Kurz's vision of the future had shown him his own death at the hands of an assassin sent by their father, which meant that their father had to be alive to be able to send an assassin in the first place. Taking custody of Kurz, the Lion and his two brothers made to breach the Ruin Storm, while neither Gilliman.
Okay, I'm so lost at what happened there. So he regretted banishing Luther and his men. Then he went back to the throne room where Sanguinius and them were. And this is the part where I get lost. Who is it that says don't kill Conrad? I thought Rabute and Sanguinius didn't want him dead, but the sound of this was that when he got there, they were going to kill Conrad, and he stopped them by saying, watch out, or, you know, like, he had a vision of an assassin coming to kill him, sent by our father, which means our father's clearly alive, so we have hope. If that wasn't him, then who? Because that part is really confusing. It feels very important, but it's rather confusing. And I understand 40k lore, this is recaps, this is summaries, so they don't go into high detail, which is why I look to you guys. Let me know in the comments. Just help me have a better, clearer understanding of what just happened right there.
All the Lion were able to breach the turbulence of the Imperium, Sanguinius's fleet was able to make it through to the throne world. Despair and frustration descended upon the Night King of Caliban as his navigators mournfully informed him that the Astronomicon, the symbol of the Emperor's psychic might and the lighthouse by which all interstellar travel used to guide themselves through the warp, had gone out. Believing that the war had been lost and that Horus, the arch-traitor, now sat atop the Golden Throne, he resolved that he would not leave a galaxy for Horus to rule.
The Dread Wing will ride with you, sire. We shall let the galaxy burn.
With the Astronomicon gone, the Lion was forced to use the Tucholcha engine to guide his way, much to the dismay of his men. In his nihilistic melancholy, he made for the traitors' homeworlds, using the excuse that they would surely withdraw from the skies of terror to defend them. In a journey that later became known as the Passage of Angels, the Lion saw Exterminatus enacted upon the worlds of Chemos and Barbarus, the homeworlds of Fulgrim and Mortarion respectively, something to take his mind off his grief. Eventually, he found Corvus Corax and Leman Russ.
Dude, look at that armor. That is cool. Oh, and his sword's even broken there, hanging off from it. Oh, I love that helmet. Like, out of armors I've seen, this is probably, I'm gonna say, I think this has to be like one of my most favorite looks of armors. It screams silent and deadly, and I'm in love with this armor, especially all the feather detail. But that helmet, the helmet's the star. That is too good. And the way he's holding the swords, it's kind of how you do in 14 when you play ninja, so that's even makes me happier. Oh, I love this.
Mustering on deliverance, demanding to know where the Raven Guard's Primarch had been during the most important battles of the war. Anything to take his mind off this grief. Corax retorted that he could not risk the complete annihilation of his legion and would continue to jealously guard his son's safety, not committing them to a wasteful act of spite. Russ, however, did join his brother on his vengeance crusade.
Okay.
After drinking their fill of traitor blood, both the Wolf and the Lion made for Terra to pick up the pieces of their shattered empire. Not soon enough. Lion L. Johnson arrived on a planet covered in ashes. A palace with broken down walls and a bleeding corpse upon his father's throne. In a few short years, 9 of his brothers had turned traitor, and 2 of his remaining loyal siblings lay dead, slain at the hands of the arch-traitor Horus and the now demon prince Fulgrim. His resignation to return to the throne world was quickly replaced by a desperation to return home to Caliban. Bloodied and tired of war, the Dark Angel's Legion arrived above the surface of their...
Okay, so in this series of events in this guy's life, so what eventually happened was they made it back to Terra to find all heck had broke loose and a corpse of an emperor on the throne. Yeah, that's gotta be a bit of a tough take. Like, Dad dead? Well, Dad's sorta dead. Dad's zombie now. Who shines a light for us to navigate with? Don't ask too many questions. But, yeah. He's sad and mourning. Is he mourning the loss of his brothers, or is he mourning the tragedy that befell the empire, or with the empire with the what was it, 9 of the Primarchs turning on them? So I'm a little curious which one kind of made more. I was trying to talk, but dude, that glowy sword there is really, really distracting. Again, another beautiful use of lighting, coloring. I've spent so much time already in this video just talking about art. I can't help it. It really gets me. Very nice, though. I'm just... The greenish blue, gray, whatever color armor is nice, but this gray armor I'm really, really starting to like. Especially with the pops of red there. It's very good.
Father's home. Soon they would be reunited with their brothers who they had been separated from nearly a decade ago. They would all be together, and after a time of resting and rearming, they would be able to take the fight to the new traitors. And then, the Void caught fire. Salvo after punching salvo slammed into the arriving fleet. Taking emergency maneuvers, the fleet pulled out of range of the planetary defense batteries. A passing merchant ship informed the Lion that Luther, his brother, his father, had taken control of the planet and assumed authority over the massive Astartes reserve force on the planet's surface. L. Johnson, assuming that this was the work of the thrice-damned forces of chaos, ordered the systematic bombing of Caliban so that no stone would be left upon another. Chaos would not take his home, even if it had to be destroyed to ensure that directive. As the planet buckled under relentless bombardment, Caliban welcomed back her wayward son with ash and smoke. The boy that had grown up in her forests, cleansed her of tainted monsters, and given her people hope for the future had returned. He would not rest in the shade of her trees, or drink from her rivers, nor eat the fruits of her vines. He had returned as a destroyer and a bringer of death. Indeed, for the first time in decades, a beast walked the land, and his name was Lion, son of the forest. Battering aside...
Okay, I'm gonna admit, that line went hard, and it was awesome. The beast walks the land again and is in the cell line. Yeah. And, see, this is why he... Mr. Daddy Issues Luther. I would not go on another Luther rant. I can speak. But, that man just... A lot of this would have been solved with a good therapist. Need a whole like unit of therapists. And I have a feeling that would probably just create a whole bunch of therapists needing therapy.
The last offenders in the fortress monastery of the Order named Alderuk in the Old Tongue. The Lion faced a man that looked like he felt. No being, transhuman or otherwise, could stand against them. They could not be reasoned with, and they could not be swayed from their courses. The clash between Luther and the Lion was like nothing the world had ever seen, nor would ever see again. Luther, having drunk deep from the poisonous well of chaos, had been elevated to a champion of the ruinous powers, and stood on equal footing with his Primarch's son. The speed of their swings was as lightning, and each clash of their blades sounded of thunder. All around them, the bombardment continued to break the surface of the planet. In the end, Luther could match the Lion well enough, but he found that he could not be overcome by merely sword play alone. Gathering a newly found psychic might, Luther unleashed a bolt of energy so terrible, so potent, that Lionel Johnson, Primarch of the 1st Legion of Astartes, the Night King of Caliban, fell to the ground with a wound fatal even for a being such as him. He was no more. In that moment, the scales fell from Luther's eyes as he...
So, Luther used the power of the Chaos Gods to beat the Lion? He hurt the kitty? I'm not happy with that. I don't like this guy. I'm starting to have strong feelings towards this person. Not on the level of Horus, but it's close. See, I knew I didn't like you. I knew I should have kept just calling you Lucifer. No, that's an insult to the TV show Lucifer. You don't even get that name. I'm gonna call you Lucy. And you're mean and got issues just because your kid was better than you. Couldn't handle getting old. Had to go and get some evil gods to help you out. Oh, look, I have the power of gods. I'm gonna show how awesome I am. Because your ego hurts. And you're kind of a jerk. Okay, breathing again.
He realized what he had done.
Oh, now you feel guilty.
Unwilling to keep fighting, he collapsed to the floor next to the man he had worked to free his world with. Neither man realized that a second heresy just played out in miniature upon the now shattered surface of Caliban. In a cruel twist of fate, the Lion had become the most like his father, the Emperor of mankind. When the Dark Angels arrived on the shards of the planet's crust that held the fortress monastery of Alderuk, they found Luther, who had gone mad with grief. Their Primarch was...
Grief? Mad with grief? Mad with grief. Really? Oh, gee. Let me use the force of these gods on this kid that I'm jealous of. Or he's not really a kid anymore, but the point is, yeah, let me use that. Oh, I won and killed him? Oh, didn't think that was going to happen. Yeah, you did, you jerk. You got what you wanted, and then you're upset about it because then you realized, am I the baddie? Yes, you're the baddie. Sorry, I side with the kitty, okay? It's a cat, I'm a cat. I have to side with the kitty. He hurt the kitty. I'm fine. I am not going to be angry. I'm going to be just internally angry. Not at the level of Horus. But kind of there. Because mainly, Horus didn't raise Sanguinius as far as I know. But Luther did. Luther raised Lion. And he couldn't handle being a dad. And having your kid just like outgrow you and be strong. I'm alright. I'm not going to keep ranting. I am fine again.
Nowhere to be seen, but amidst the incessant babble coming from Luther's lips, they learned that the Lion had been taken by the Watchers in the Dark. An enigmatic race of robed creatures that are shrouded in the warp as much as they are shrouded in mystery.
Who are these
Luther
guys?
was sequestered to a deep dungeon in the bowels
I
of
drag him
the
away.
rock, as the Shard of Caliban came to be called. Languishing in stasis so that the Dark Angels could question him at their leisure. Unbeknownst to the galaxy at large, and even to the Astartes of the Dark Angels themselves, the Lion had indeed been taken by the Watchers in the Dark and placed in an even deeper dungeon on the very same rock that held Luther.
Why is that room that giving me sword art like the tower vibe? It's like he's in another part of he's on another floor. Okay. So he lost. And the Watchers, these weird guys, showed up, took him, and the Angels were like, well, they took him. Looked at Luther's crying, weepy little self and dragged him off and started, quote, questioning him. I'm sure that was totally not painful or anything. Yeah, I'm sure it was perfectly all sunshines and rainbows when they were asking him questions. But is the lion gonna come back? Kind of feel like he might come back. Super kitty.
Is in the dark and placed in an even deeper dungeon on the very same rock that held Luther. He was kept a secret that only the Watchers knew. The only other being with this knowledge being the Emperor of Mankind,
Oh.
who sees all from his golden throne.
Okay.
For the next 10,000 years, the Dark Angels pursued a vicious war against their traitorous brothers who had survived the destruction of Caliban, dubbing them the Fallen. No longer the noble knights of the Great Crusade,
Oh, okay.
the Dark Angels of the 41st millennium act more like a secret police force or a state-sponsored death squad. Fearing censure from the Imperium at large should their secret schism be discovered, the chapter does all it can to make sure each and every one of their fallen brothers is captured and made to repent for their actions, or be killed and quietly disposed of. The dreamer wakes up
Okay.
and sees his hands for the first time.
Huh?
He knows not how long he has sat here, but he suspects it has been a very long time. He hears a sound that pleases his ears. He rises to his feet and begins walking, slowly at first, and then running, hoping to find the source of these notes of music.
Okay.
Yes, that is what these sounds are called. The hunter comes upon a river where he sees an old man sitting in a boat. He weighs out toward the boat, but is immediately told to return to shore by a diminutive creature in brown robes. He should not do that, it says. He is not strong enough. The hunter asks the creature what he should do and is told to follow his nature. He smells something that smells like corruption. He follows the smell until the trees begin to change.
Okay.
He is no longer where he was, but he is not sure where he is. He happens upon a man. He knows this man. This man's name is Zabriel, one of his sons, and if this is Zabriel, then he himself must be. Lion L. Johnson asks Zabriel many things. Where are they? When are they? Does the Imperium still exist? What about his other sons? Zabriel answers what he can, but there are gaps in his knowledge. Some time passes and the lion learns about the forest place that he walked out of. He learns that he can enter with focus and exit in places where he desires to go. Gathering to himself more of his formerly fallen sons, the lion forms a warband of loyalist dark.
Wait. That all seemed weird, and I thought it was like him dreaming while he was being held by the Watchers. So what am I understanding is 10,000 years passed, I guess, and he woke up and then went through a forest and ended up in front of one of his sons. I forgot how to say the name. And I'm assuming that forest is the thing you guys were telling me in the comments is how he can teleport. It's all very weird and mystical, and I don't understand it, but I'm intrigued. And I like it. I want more.
Archangels. Fallen no longer, they
Oh.
are risen. Accompanying them is a small militia of mortal humans known as the Lion Guard Auxilia. The lion has not been idle since his return, obtaining
Okay.
a new sword named
Okay, he just looks like like if Santa Claus was done with the naughty kids. That's what that looks like.
Fealty, and being gifted the Emperor's personal shield. He has been granted a new role in the galaxy.
Okay.
No longer a destroyer of the Emperor's enemies, he is now a protector of those lost to the Emperor's light in Imperium Nihilus. However, the forces of chaos still blight the galaxy, even 10,000 years after Horus's defeat, as seen when the Lion comes across a squad of mutated Chaos Astartes in the Lion, son of the forest.
Okay.
Who do you serve?
I serve myself. The fur-clad commander whose back the lion broke was still twitching. Zabriel walked over to him.
Okay, so it said the lion broke the guy's back. If the lion broke his back, I'm assuming he's the one who also broke Conrad's back. At least I think.
And aimed his bolt pistol at the fallen heretic's head.
Wait!
The lion crosses the floor and glares down at his adversary.
What must I do to rid myself of this malady that impedes me?
Impedes you? You slaughtered my best, broke my back as though I were a child. What manner of being are you that you consider yourself impeded when you can still do such things?
Okay, listen, he didn't exactly break your back. He was just opening a can, and he forgot his can opener. Yeah, totally what was happening.
The lion reaches up and removes his helmet. This is the first time he will declare himself in 10,000 years, and he will not do so behind a ceramite faceplate.
I am Lion L. Johnson, Primarch of the Dark Angels and son of the Emperor.
The heretic's eyes go wide and there is no doubt in them. He smiles and begins to laugh, exposing teeth that are mere jagged points.
There is no malady at work here, my lord. You simply got old.
The lion's breathing turns heavy, pursued by the cold bite of truth. Zabril's bolt pistol speaks once more, and then there is silence.
Well, dealt with that guy.
The lion has much to learn about the galaxy at large.
Well,
and
yeah,
about himself.
Changed a lot.
Now is a time for introspection and to face his inner demons.
Okay.
As the lion encounters a supernatural creature.
Dude, what is this? This is cool. Again, this is like what I talk about, like this art. This time it's definitely all monotone. You got the black and the white with the shades of gray, but there's no pop of red, no pop of color. And it is just telling a story here that I don't know yet what it is, but oh, I like this. Again, the use of lighting is so important in these things. I don't know if this thing is rising up behind him, coming to possess him. He's also got that mark on his forehead, which is kind of interesting. Glowing eyes. Oh, this is just an amazing piece of work.
Imitating his siblings, as seen in the lion, son of the forest.
Okay.
The lion's jaw dropped when the figure stepped out into the gentle mist-shrouded light. Blonde hair so much like his own, but tangled and part braided, and not faded with age, ornate armor so much like the lion's own, but the grey of death in winter rather than the black of night. The ferocity that lurks within the lion's heart is mirrored here, but worn on the surface in the flashing blue eyes, and the elongated canine teeth that are exposed as the upper lip lifts in a snarl. Relief, anger, joy, and alarm all swell within the lion's heart.
Leman Russ.
Hello, traitor.
Leman launched himself forward with his hands reaching out for the lion's throat. The lion wasted no more time with words. He had fought Leman Russ before, and he knows that such things only end when the Wolf King is either incapacitated or chooses to stop of his own accord. He sidesteps Russ's lunge and then swings a fist. He knocked Russ unconscious once on Delan, but his brother was laughing then. Russ is not laughing now. He swats the blow aside and slams a punch of his own into the lion's chest, his face twisted in a rage. The foolish see the savagery of the Space Wolves and dismiss it as nothing more than that, but the lion knows better. The lion meets him toe-to-toe, furious concentration against concentrated fury.
Traitor? You know that is not true!
Then why does it bother you so?
It was not Russ's voice the lion heard, and the shape now rising to its feet stands taller than Russ ever did. A mighty figure encased in a massive suit of Terminator plate is now where the Wolf King stood a moment before, Horus Lupercal.
You are...
Wait, what? Is something messing with his head? What? Yeah, you're dead. Okay, lion, don't fall for whatever this is. This thing's weird.
dead! Russ's fate I did not know for sure, but you are dead! This is some warp trickery!
Yeah.
Now it is Horus's turn to stagger, raising his other hand to shield his face as he does so. When he lowers it again, his features have changed. His skin is paler, and cables snake out of its skull into his armor. Perturabo.
Well anticipated. A shame you lacked that foresight on Tiamat.
You might at least have found a brother for whom I ever cared!
And if you had been smarter, you would have seen it coming.
Huh?
The crimson-haired giant is as tall on one knee as the lion is standing, and his hand closes around the lion's skull in an agonizing grip. The lion manages to prise the fingers apart, but Magnus's other hand punches him full in the face and sends him flying backwards.
Now I know that you are a fraud! Magnus could never hope to hit that hard!
The Emperor never trusted you.
Okay, that was
Dawn lashed out with 2 quick punches. The lion should have been able to dodge them both, but he is starting to feel the effects of being repeatedly battered by his brothers, or at least by a being which is mimicking them, and the second lands flush.
That is why he sent you far away into the galaxy's darkest corners while keeping me close.
Dawn continued, reaching out to grab and strangle. The lion seizes one of his arms and pivots, throwing Dawn over his shoulder and dumping the Praetorian of Terror onto his back.
You think he trusted you with his secrets? I know secrets you could never hope to imagine, firstborn.
Arms seized the lion from behind, wrapping around his neck and hauling him around in a half circle. But he reached up to prise them loose and dropped down onto one knee to throw his attacker off again.
You never did.
Okay, so what is happening is this being is shifting through Primarchs and beating him up? Is that what is happening? Y'all leave a comment. Tell me if I'm right. Because what the crap is he fighting? What is this thing? It's from the warp. I don't think it's a god. Maybe it's one of the gods, like top people or general or something, but seriously, y'all leave a comment. Let me know what in the world is happening here. Unless it shows up in the video and I get my answer, but I'm mind blown right now. I'm really surprised.
Have the stomach for a fair fight. A fair fight.
Angron roared, throwing the lion off. He piles forward in a furious rush of blows that have all of Russ's savagery but none of the control. The lion gets back up and tries to throw a punch of his own, but it's caught in a hand of metal.
At least I know which of my legion deserved to die. They all did!
But,
And I knew that. They called me a fiend because I terrorized the worlds. But
yeah.
you just killed them. My reputation made planets capitulate when they heard my approach. But you just dropped from the sky unannounced and burned the very soil to ash. Why is it that you are a hero and I am a villain simply because I left some wretches alive to talk about me?
The lion manages to get his hands on Curz's and wrenches the claws out, then staggers away. When he turns, the Night Haunter is nowhere to be seen.
I am not a hero. I did what was required of me by the master of mankind, the man I believed knew best. I was a necessary part of his plan to unify and save humanity. So noble. You are a villain because you enjoyed what you did, and you did it even when you had been ordered not to. Perhaps Father did his work too well.
Oh.
You can only blame the Emperor because you refuse to take responsibility for your own actions.
See, this is again more daddy issues. Therapy. They need counseling, and they need to go play catch with their dad, and not play whatever's going on with the universe. Well, I guess they're not really playing because universe is kind of screwed thanks to the Chaos Gods and, you know, I was gonna say Slaanesh, but that's Chaos Gods, and the other bad things out there. Either way, still, they could have used some therapy.
You like to say that you could see the future, but you let yourself be a slave to it instead of forging your own path.
He's not wrong.
Father has not failed yet. Not while I am still alive to protect this galaxy.
You know
nothing of which you speak. Perhaps. But you are long dead. And I am through bandying words with ghosts.
Oh.
Most recently, the lion...
So, that happened, but it didn't say what it was. Was that actually him fighting the Primarchs, or was this a being that was turning into the Primarchs? Now I'm really confused. But in a good way. So, let me know in the comments what in the world just happened. I'm looking to you guys. I'm sure as I dive deeper, like I know this is just, they're going over the things, so there's not hard details, but I'm sure the more I dive into 40K and continue down this journey, all this stuff will click and make a lot more sense. But at this point in time, I am a bit lost, but that did sound really cool. It was a fight, like that fight was pretty awesome.
...is reunited with his loyalist sons. the modern Dark Angels. During the invasion of the Rock by Vashdor the Archifane, the Lion arrived in time to save Dante, the chapter master of the Blood Angels, from his corrupted brother Angron. The duel between the ascended demon Primarch and the newly returned Lion was a sight that will be recorded in the annals of Imperial history for all time. After being pursued relentlessly by the blood-starved beast, the Lion managed to land a single strike on Angron's throat. Never one to work in half measures, the Lion proceeded to decapitate his traitorous brother with the edge of the Emperor's shield, bringing it down over and over again until the deed was done. In the grim darkness of the far future, the Knight of Nihilus stalks the stars. No longer a destroyer, he is the guardian of all those who would ask for his protection. The Primarch is the Imperium's greatest warrior, and a man of focus, commitment, and sheer bloody will. Only time will tell whether he will be able to unite the peoples of Imperium Nihilus, or be swallowed by the dark.
Go, now! Return to your grey ship and your empty flags. You will have my answer within the hour.
After Alfaris had left, the Lion turned to Captain Arnade.
What did you make of that?
Strange offer.
Very. Do you agree with his assessment of the war?
Arnade hesitated.
It is not my place to...
Your honest view, Captain?
He's right. We will win here. But we will also leave much of our strength in these stars.
The Lion nodded. His eyes flickered briefly across the various tactical hololiths, all buzzing with runes and deployment vectors.
I had a dream last night, Captain Arnade. I dreamed that I was back on Caliban before my father had come, when the deep woods were still alive with horror. I was in the mind of a beast come to slay me. Or perhaps the beast was in my mind and it was the hunter. Now I do not recall ever meeting such a creature in life. And as it ended, it spoke to me.
Arnade listened, a little awkwardly, unsettled by the glimpse, however slight, into the Primarch's inner life.
Dad's telling a weird story again about what he dreamed last night. All right, Dad, I'll listen. Go right ahead. Not weird or anything at all.
It, too, called me the First. I cannot have known what it meant then. Ever since, though, the title has been both honor and burden, hung around our necks heavy. Now we have more ghosts emerging from the void that tempt us with future visions of greater politics to come. Always, at every turn, such ghosts have been there, believing they know what I must wish for, or must do, or must be.
The Lion smiled a second time, a little less coldly.
A war master. A first among equals.
Oh.
The ghost is no doubt right. Something like that will surely come. And if we persist in fulfilling our oaths here, we damage our chances of taking it. Every creature of temptation, it seems to me, comes out of the shadows bearing words of truth. That is why they are dangerous. We are used to lies. On a world made of them, only truth imperils the soul.
Then, should we...
The Lion looked back towards him, a flicker of dry amusement lingering on his face.
Should we what, Captain?
Should we accept the offer?
The Lion sat back in his throne.
The offer changes, but my answer never does.
Okay.
Totally unscripted, just wanted to share a quick word with you all. I just wanted to give a huge, huge thanks to all of your incredible support with our new long-form content.
Alright, yeah, just gonna pause that. As you guys can see on the screen, Astartes Anonymous, from what I understand, they're a group of people that come together that tells this. I was not sure. I had just learned about them through you guys. This has been really good. Now, it wasn't super detailed. I didn't expect it to be, so I am a little confused on some of the things, but it did give me a very good understanding of the Lion And I have to admit, I like the lion. The lion is a really, really cool character. I'm not being biased because I'm a kitty girl, but I do find him interesting. His whole story from growing up in the jungles or the forest, and I still think Tarzan, so I said jungle, but his whole wild child thing, and then making his world at peace, discovering he's a Primarch, all of that is really, really, really good, and it has been a joy to go through this with you guys, and uh I'm probably gonna have to watch this again later just to wrap my brain around some more. And I will be reading comments, so feel free to type up what you want me to know, and I will try to absorb that information. I'm still gonna get things wrong, but I'm sure the more I explore and get familiar with this stuff, it will start sticking, and it'll be like any lore of like 14 that I can just throw out at random. But I did promise you guys a surprise, which should be on the screen right now. Yes, I went ahead and drew the Primarch, the lion. I was inspired. I felt just motivated that at the end of this, I wanted to draw his chibi, and there he is. It took a little bit of work. I was not really sure on some of the design choices I went with. I did add a belt there originally, but the belt kind of blended with his cape when I got to coloring, so I decided to remove that. And I had a lot of fun. That's the first time I've drawn a beard, so I'm happy with how the beard came out. And I also wanted to give him a lighter blonde hair color because I felt that that would be more fitting because I feel he is older. But yes, that is the lion's chibi, and I hope you guys liked it. I just had so much fun drawing it, and I wanted it to be ready for this video, which is probably why this video will be coming out a little late compared to how soon I wanted to bring it out. But I hope you guys did enjoy. So that was the lion, the Night King of the Imperium. I hope you guys really enjoyed those reactions. This time I left on the end part of the reaction, cutting off, of course, the goodbye part. But I thought, you know what? I really did enjoy learning a lot about the lion. He is a very fascinating character. And I, of course, when I went back to my old ones, had to start with him. He was just too cool. Plus, us cats, we gotta stick together. But I hope you guys did enjoy those old reactions of mine, and I hope you guys tune in for my newer ones. Be sure to check the description. That is where I keep the links to any video I react to. And if you have not liked or subscribed to Astartes, I can say the word anonymous, Astartes Anonymous, be sure to definitely give them a like and a subscribe if you did not do that already. Just like with the Remembrancer and Bricky and DVQO. Wait, I think I said it wrong. DQVO? There. Yeah, I said it backwards. I'm fine. Anyways, like all the other guys, they're wonderful content creators, and I have been so thankful to check out their work and to learn so much about 40K through them and through you guys as well. But yeah, so this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And of course, you guys know the magic words, which is you rock, you're awesome, and you know it. But also the other ones for YouTube, which is if you like that video, leave a like and subscribe, of course. And until next time, you all take care. Bye-bye.